We begin this evening with a nigun. Yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 dai. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I am Rabbi Sarah Zober.
And I'm Rabbi Benjamin Zober.
And we'd like to welcome you all to services tonight. You, the few, the hardy, the die-hard service goers. We are in that period in between Yom Kippur and Sukkot. And when we have a Shabbat at that period, it usually ends up being a very small and intimate crowd. So welcome. Thank you for spending your Shabbat evening with us.
I feel like we should give people something extra special, like the secrets of,
secrets
of Judaism or something.
I can tell you the secret to being Jewish.
What is the secret of being Jewish?
The secret to being Jewish is that you always know the right words.
Oh.
Because even if you don't know the right words, you can just sing Yai Lalai and Chiri Biri Bim Bam or something like that, and God still understands.
Oh, okay. So that song we just sang, were there words that you forgot?
Yeah, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. If you are joining us and you would like a copy of our Sidur, you can download it right down there, so you can follow along. It's got everything you will need for this evening. Or if you just want to close your eyes and listen and sing along from what you know in your heart, also a great option.
Also, feel free to say hi to Naomi in the chat. She is once again manning our or womaning our tech this evening. So please feel free to thank her for her services. This is service number 7 this week that you have helped run. And so she is a devoted tech support for us tonight.
So we begin with a reading. It is on page 8 if you've got the book. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and bring that vision to life.
Rabbi Benjamin's going to light our Shabbat candles. If you'd like to follow along, you can follow along on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Now tonight, in light of the fact that we have had so many services this week, we're going to take it easy on you. Most of the melodies will be oldies but goodies, and we will be kind of keeping things light and easy. We are hoping that you are lounging in your house, that you have fully recovered from your fast if you fasted. If not, feel free to get up, grab yourself a glass of water, and just kind of let Shabbat wash over you. It is, of course, meant to be a time of rest for all of us. We continue with Ma Yafeh Hayom, which can be found in the middle of page 10. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
And we continue on, beginning on page 20 with Lecha Dodi as we welcome the Sabbath bride into our midst.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamoy v'zachor b'dibur echad yishmi'anu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad v'shemo tiferet v'li tehila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki mekor ha'baracham berosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitorari, kiva orach, gumi uri, shir daberi, kavod Adonai, alayik nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uve'tzola toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela.
You may be seated. We continue now on page 26 together with Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon u'byomechon, U'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala, U'bizman kariv,
V'meru.
Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach, Le'olam u'lam me'almaya yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, Shemei d'Kudesha berichu, Leila kol birchata v'shirata,
Tushbechata v'nechemata, Damihiran be'alma.
V'meru.
Amen. We all rise for the Baruch Hu, which can be found on page 28. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da dai 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 dai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
We continue together at the middle of page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of the day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim.
Ahavat Olam can be found on the next page.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadata Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shofbeinu Uvkameinu nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha Uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu ve'orach yameinu Ubahem nege yomam v'layla nege yomam v'layla Ve'avatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael. The Shema can be found on page 34. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malkuto Leolam Va'ed.
May be seated. We continue together on page 36 with the V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'kol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech u'shachbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam lot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'hisharecha leman tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai V'tem keroshim lelohechem Ahani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti echem מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Adonai Elohechem Emet. We continue responsively on page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot.
That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness.
That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Micha Mocha can be found on the very next page.
Yappa bim bim bam, yappa bim bam, yappa bim bim bam, yappa bim bam, yai dai 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 dai, yappa bim bam, yai dai 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 dai, yappa bim bam. Mi chamocha Bayalim Adonai, mi kamocha, nedor bakodesh, norati lot, o sefela, norati lot, o sefela, malachutecha, ra'u banecha, bokei ayom lifnei, Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'eli anu ve'amru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Yappa ba bim bim bam, yappa ba bim bam, yappa ba bim bim bam, yappa ba bim bam, yai dai 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 dai, yappa ba bim bam, yai dai 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 dai, yappa ba bim bam. ונאמר כי פעל אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Our next reading is one that is not in Mishkan Tefillah, another incentive to download our virtual Siddur each week. Shelter me in a leaf, shelter me in a stone. I envy them their sure peace. Shelter me, God, protect and conceal me, enclose me in your fences. Pick me up from the dust that turns me gray. Embrace me with your eternity, like a leaf and a stone nourished with dew. Make me a path of permanence. My heart is shadowed. Anoint me with your dazzle, which I feel in my breath. Wash away my trembling, wash away my doubt. The nights are ephemeral, the days filled with pain. Send your help, God.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporeis sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Yism'Zoom can be found on page 44.
Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, mekadeshei shevi Shabbat, kulam yisbehu ve'yitangu metu v'chashabat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdat yamim, oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Vekorei Oneg Shabbat. Zecher Lamase, Lamase Bereshit Shabbat. Zecher Lamase, Lamase Bereshit Shabbat. Yism'Zoom v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Vekorei Oneg Shabbat. Yism'Zoom v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Vekorei Oneg Shabbat. Traditionally, our evening Amidah is done silently. And we are going to do a silent Amidah this week as well. Please take the time, if you have our virtual Siddur, to go through our Amidah and then spend some time in silent meditation. If you have the book, feel free to do all of the Amidah if it strikes your fancy, or just take a moment and rest and sit and pray. We turn to page 46 in the booklet. Oseh Shalom can be found at the bottom of page 62. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
We now turn to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our Torah service this evening. We will begin on page 86 with our blessing for the study of Torah, as we say together, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Our Torah reading this evening is from Parashat Ha'azinu. It is largely a poem that Moses offers. His days are waning, and so he maybe is stalling for time. And so he's these last few Torah portions, he is taking up lots of time, maybe stalling for time, maybe just trying to teach everyone a few more things while he still has the opportunity. And this is the beginning of one of his big speeches. A few of the phrases may sound familiar to you if you have come to various things. So keep an ear out and see if you catch any of those things. Ha'azinu hashamayim va'adabera v'tishma ha'aretz imrei fi. Ya'arof kama atar likhi tizal katal imarti kish iririm ale deshe v'chir vivim ale esev kishem Adonai ekra bo godel Eloheinu hatzur tamim pa'alo ki chol derachav mishpat el emunah ve'ein avel tzadik ve'yashar hu shichet lo banav mumam dor ikesh uftal taol. Hara Adonai tigmalu zot am naval velo chacham. Halo hu avecha kanecha hu ashcha veyakonencha. Give ear, O heavens, let me speak. Listen, let the earth hear the words I utter. May my discourse come down as the rain, my speech distill as the dew, like showers on young growth, like droplets on the grass. For the name of the Eternal I proclaim, give glory to our God, the rock whose deeds are perfect. Yea, all God's ways are just. A faithful God, never false, true and upright indeed. Unworthy children, that crooked, perverse generation, their baseness has played God false. Do you thus requite the Eternal, O dull and witless people? Is not this the one who created you, fashioned you, and made you to endure? At this time, we think of those in our community who need a bit of healing, body, of mind, and spirit. We are thinking of Harav Aharon Ben Tova, Wendy Alderman, Lucille Alexander, Stanley Browdy, Neil Calder, Patrick Campbell, Megan Carney Cranmer, Vita Dworkin, Camille Gertler, Stephen Gould, Marlene Harris, Harvey Higdon, Harav Katriel Ben Karen, Harav Miriam Bashifra Ben Pinchas, Joan Nutkin, Lori Pattison, Shirley Rutkovitz, Sarah Batchava, Marianne Schenker, Wen Song, Jessica Wadatz, Asher Zelech, everyone affected by the fires surrounding us this season, and everyone affected by the coronavirus, and of course, all the names that you hold in your hearts or have shared aloud or in the comments. For all of them, we offer a song of healing and blessing, Misha Berach. It can be found on page 253 of the prayer book. Misha Berach avot Avotenu, Mekor Habrecha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu, Mekor Habrecha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So I'm not going to give a long sermon tonight, but I did want to leave you with a thought that struck me last night after we broke our fast. I was thinking to myself that every year we put such work into Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah. Marilyn and I start in February with our outlines. We have to get our Torah and Haftarah chanters by midsummer. We have to get all of the rest of the aliyot by the beginning of August. And then we scramble, shuffling them around as people drop out or people come in. And by the time we get to Rosh Hashanah, I get through Rosh Hashanah and think to myself, okay, we got through Rosh Hashanah. Now I just need to get through Yom Kippur. But those days really are days of norah, days of dread for me, because you never know what's going to happen. And you never know exactly how the fast is going to affect you. I never know if I'm going to wake up the morning of Yom Kippur and have a dry mouth, or there'll be smoke so that I can barely breathe. And then after spending all that time dreading Yom Kippur, we get to the break fast every year. And while coming home from the break fast, or at this point this year, while coming back to home to have our break fast, I felt open. And even with doing none of my normal Elul preparations, having nothing be normal, losing a Torah chanter to knee surgery days before Yom Kippur, Yom Kippur worked. It hollowed me out and reminded me of the things that are important. And here between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, the juxtaposition becomes very, very stark. On Yom Kippur, we wear white, we afflict our bodies, we afflict our souls, we say we're going to be better, we say we're going to change, we beat our brows, we don't eat, we don't drink, and we suffer, and then we go straight into Sukkot. The reading that we do at the end of Ne'ilah always reminds us that before you break your fast, you're supposed to drive the first stake in for your sukkah. And that's because Sukkot, the holiday that will come up on Monday, is a holiday that reminds us, after the hollowing out of Yom Kippur, about what's important. And Sukkot is a holiday about what's important about living our lives, these lives that are this amazing gift from God. Because Sukkot is about catching up with people that you love. There is a rabbinic adage that on Sukkot, you should invite people into your homes or into your sukkahs that you made up with in the course of preparing for Yom Kippur. It's a chance to sit and to share a meal and to share space. Sukkot is about living. It's about living before you die. And after listening to the Unatana Tokef and that list of things of which we could die in the next year, it's about making it good. It's about singing. It's about eating. It's about finding joy in the simple things like a good meal or a friend coming over. It's about living in impermanence. It's about reminding yourself that even when you build something and there's holes in the roof and the rain comes into your soup bowl, that it's okay. That's part of the joy of living, are all the little imperfections. It's about doing silly things, like inviting imaginary friends into your sukkah, like taking leaves and fruit and dancing around with them. And then at the end of the holiday, beating them against the ground and praying to God for rain. It's about making sure that our first things that we do after Yom Kippur are about feeling life intensely. When we walked out of Yom Kippur break fast into the night, the temperature here in Reno had dropped pretty significantly. And this morning, I wore a sweatshirt for the first time. And we're constantly talking about the holidays either being too early or too late. But in reality, they always seem to come right at the right time. I want to remind everybody that as much as we browbeat ourselves, as much as Rabbi Benjamin and I preached to you on Yom Kippur about the things that we should do, about the things that we haven't done in the last year, it is equally important that we go out all the days of Sukkot and live. That we surround ourselves with people that we love, that we spend a little bit of time outdoors, and that we remind ourselves by looking up at the stars that we're very small and that this world is very impermanent. There's a parable that someone asked King Solomon, what is a phrase that can make a happy man weep and a sad man leap for joy? One phrase that can do both things. That phrase is the lesson of Sukkot. Gam zeh ya'avor. This too shall pass. The good things pass, and the troublesome things pass. Shabbat shalom.
We now turn to Aleinu, which can be found at the bottom of page 282. If you are able, please rise.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kigoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gohor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu.
Page 285. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We think now of those whose presence in our community is only a memory. We are thinking of Ronald Kopke, Terry Gregory, Grayson Corbett, Joe Johns, Sherwin Sider, Arthur Ashkin, Jack Robinson, Betty Williams, Pamela Walker, Barb McBrady, Mary Jane Ludwig, Inga Kaplan, Elizabeth Ruth Rassler, James Cross, Peter A. Alsberg, PhD, Eileen Jenkins, Selma Four, Steve Strauss, Andrew Verratti, Anna Matlis, Charlie Perlman, Rabbi Michael Cook, Sharon Perlman, Mildred Millie Small, Alan Dabrow, William Leibovic, Jim Ballantyne, Eli Kane, David Stucker. In this Shabbat, we commemorate the yahrzeits of Edith Alderman, Charlotte Seufer, Meyer E. Blinderman, Gustav Bretzfelder, Gundi McKean, Sam Bernbach, Sidney L. Green, Jenny Klein, Morris Klein, Mike Auerbach, Benjamin Katzman, Gary McCauley, Fanny Francoise Ohean, Harry Shapiro, and we add to those names the ones that you hold in your hearts or have shared in the comments. Kadisha Tome can be found on page 294. If it is your custom, please rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael. B'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei
Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam U'Lalmei Omaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal Shmei dekudisha berichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushpechata v'nechemata. Ta'amiran be'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, to which we say, Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. We have a few announcements for you this evening. The first is thank you to Naomi Eiser for running tech on this. We couldn't do it without you. There is no Yism'Zoom tonight. We are just absolutely vermished and verblunget. Oisgezoom, sure, that's it. All the Yiddish words. And verklempt. On Sunday morning, we've got two things going on. Two wonderful things. The first is Sinai School at 9:30 a.m. So if your kiddos are in that, we're looking forward to seeing you all there. And if you don't have kiddos in Sinai School, then you are free on Sunday morning to come again at 9:30 to help us.
You can
build
even
the
come to
sukkah.
Services from 9:30 to 10, and
An in-person
then
service.
it's
Wow.
an in-person service. Please wear your mask. It would be a morning service with our religious school kids. And then at 10 o'clock, you can help Michael Gordon and the building grounds and security crew build the sukkah.
Please bring a mask if you are doing that as well. Even though it is outside, we want to be as cautious as possible.
Wear sunscreen and sneakers, please.
And clothing to work. But
Yes.
and they will put you to work. So all good things. We hope you can come out and help do that. Many hands make light work. It means that we get to have the biggest little sukkah up again, which will be an outdoor space where people can come and we can take advantage of it. The weather is favorable, and it will be a little safer for people to come and gather and partake in that mitzvah. On Wednesday, the 22nd at 7 p.m., the temple board meeting is happening via Zoom. All members are welcome. Contact the temple office if you want details on how to join in on that and see all the stuff that we are cooking up and working on. A week from today, we are doing our Sukkot Shabbat service. It is in person in the sukkah. And via live stream. So here's what's going to happen. We've discovered that when we try to broadcast from outside at the synagogue, the audio and video quality is less than stellar. So Rabbi Sarah and I are going to be here in our sukkah, and we are going to stream, and we will have a screen set up in the sukkah at the synagogue. So if you want to come and see it, if you want to bring a meal and eat in the sukkah, you have that option. It should be really a nice evening for it, so you can do that. Of course, you're always welcome to sit
from your sukkah.
Yes, from your sukkah or wherever you may be. So that's what's going on. There will be some tables and chairs there, so there are places to sit, to l'shev and all of that. And then we will kind of be back to regularly scheduled programming after that, back to Torah study, and then early warning, or not so early, I don't know. On Monday, September 27th is Simchat Torah. That is going to be in person and live streamed from the temple.
Just so you know, that is not a typo. The Reform movement holds with 7 days of Sukkot, just like in Israel, and so Simchat Torah is tacked onto that day. The rest of the Jewish world will be celebrating Simchat Torah on Tuesday, but we are celebrating as if we are currently living in the land.
Are you telling me we're not having Simchat Taco Tuesday?
No, we're not having Simchat Taco Tuesday.
Learn to live with disappointment, Rabbi. Learn to live with disappointment. Okay, well, I'm not disappointed in our next song because it's a favorite of mine.
We turn to the top of page 323 for Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Barchuni leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Seitchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.